Hi, my name is Cody. If you're watching this, you are thinking about changing your life. Drug court has worked wonders for many people, myself included. This video is intended to help you make the decision if drug court is right for you. Drug courts in the state of Utah are a part of an ongoing effort to combat the rising number of drug-related crimes within our communities. Estimates have indicated that in recent years, arrests for drug-related crimes have more than doubled. Additionally, judges have observed that the same offenders appear in their courts time and time again. It seemed as if traditional methods of dealing with addicts such as strict probation or mandatory imprisonment did not attack the fundamental problem of addiction. Drug courts work by recognizing that unless substance abuse ends, fines and jail time are unlikely to prevent future criminal activity. Consequently, drug courts, through frequent testing and court supervision, focus upon eliminating drug addiction as a long-term solution to crime. There are an estimated 700 to 800 participants statewide and hundreds of successful graduates. This is a voluntary program. The length of this program is a minimum of 94 weeks and maybe longer. The program includes 5 phases before commencement from drug court. Failure to successfully complete the program will result in reinstatement of your guilty plea and will be a violation of your probation agreement. Now we will talk with some important people within the drug court program to let you know just what to expect and what is expected from you if you decide that drug court is right for you. This is Ryan. He has just barely started drug court. He's came down and wanted to tell us a few things about just barely starting in drug court. Ryan, how is drug court treating you so far?
It treats me pretty well. I mean, to be honest, it really takes the individual. Drug court is definitely a foundation that anyone can really follow and can find success in, I believe. But for me, as of right now, I'm learning a lot each and every day. I find new stuff out about drug court all the time. There's definitely plenty of rules and plenty of requirements and stuff that they want you to follow through with, and it's just that willingness and
Want to do it.
the want to do it, yeah, for sure.
Right. Are you pretty much overwhelmed right now?
Yeah, definitely overwhelmed. It's gotten better. I believe it's been about 2 months or just shy of 2 months, and the first 2 weeks was pretty rough. It was definitely stressful. I remember questioning like everything that I was like thinking about doing. Not even that it was involved in any sort of like illegal activity. It wasn't, but it was just like, man, I just don't know if I can go to these places or do these things, you know, just wanting to be careful, make sure that it followed drug court's rules. But I found out that the drug trackers are always willing to answer questions. They're very helpful as far as that goes. So that's nice, you know what I mean? So you can actually build a relationship with them, so they're not so intimidating like you may see officers as. But
what are some of the things that you have did right at first when you were in that first 2 weeks to cope with that overwhelmingness?
Go to treatment, and at treatment, I don't know if I'd call it a luxury, but I kind of had I'll call it a luxury. I kind of had the luxury of knowing a few people that were in drug court and getting to know them from treatment prior to drug court, and having that kind of gave me an understanding of how drug courts ran, and then I also got to see the success that people were having, the gratitude that they were gaining along the way, and just how things were working out for them, and I wanted that. So drug court was a easy decision for me, something that I think is important for me to have, especially when I'm out using and stuff. Like I lose that foundation, I lose that idea of following through with my responsibilities and stuff like that.
Determination.
Yeah, determination.
Will to stay clean and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Right on. What are some of the things that drug court has taught you so far in the last 2 months?
Number one is be honest. That's for sure. They appreciate honesty 100%, you know what I mean? And humility, for sure, in that honesty. Even being honest about something you're uncomfortable about or that you're embarrassed about, it's like I found a lot of rewards to being honest just right up front and them actually commending me for it, you know what I mean? So you get a lot of good feedback for taking that step.
It's a humbling experience.
It really is. It's really.
This is Robert Draves. We've been in the drug court program about the same time. I'm going to ask him a few questions and see what he has to say about drug court. First off, Rob, what has drug court done for you?
Well, it's given me my mind, my life. It's given me my wife, a second chance with my wife, my family back, trust with my mom and my brothers and sisters. Through being sober and with drug court's help, I've full-time job. I've got promotions, moved up, and raises, so I can actually, it's more grateful for the better way of life that it has given me. Everybody fights it at first, but
It's rough at the first, isn't it?
yeah.
What is your current attitude about drug court right now, since we've been in it for a couple years?
A few years. Well, I'm grateful. I'm glad that I got the opportunity to do it. As far as with, it's not, you honestly learn a lot, whether it be of yourself or what you need to do the right thing. Everyone thinks at the beginning of drug court it's just about staying sober. And it took me till probably this last 6 to 8 months that I actually realized it's more than just the sober part. It's you got to change everything.
The behaviors, the whole 9 yards, the way
Yep.
you think, everything. Thanks, Rob. Right now, is drug court doing all it can to help you succeed in your life?
And I believe so. They're pretty supportive, they try to be there. They got a lot of people on their caseload, but you also got to, learn to be able to do things for yourself too.
What are a couple important things that you have learned in your time in drug court?
You can't make somebody want this, that you ultimately got to want it for yourself. Staying clean is the easy part. Wanting to stay clean is the hard part for me.
Right.
Through the therapy, through drug court, I've gained a lot more patience. Not trying to be a knucklehead or out there trying to be stupid. Stuff rolls off so much easier. It makes it easier to deal with life situations or problems that arise, whatever the case may be. You have a more level head instead of just like, F it, I'll just go get high, or who cares?
Hi, this is Doug. He commenced drug court a few months back, and I'm going to ask him a few questions on how drug court worked for him. Hey, Doug.
Hey.
Hey, what did drug court do for you?
That's a good question. Drug court gave me back my life that had been stolen by the use of the opiates. I mean, drug court pulled me out, washed me off, and set me back on the path.
Doug, what's your current attitude towards drug court and recovery?
Oh, my attitude towards drug court is, and I think I said this already, it's a great tool. I mean, drug court and the trackers and the judge especially, and you know, the PO, everybody involved works together to give you the best shot that you can have when they release you back into the wild.
How has your attitude changed from when you first started drug court to now?
Well, you got to remember, I was in the middle of my addiction when I first started drug court, so I was very untrusting, didn't like anyone, honestly. But as you move through the therapy and the tools that they give you, you start building, you know, I guess more self-confidence, more self-reliance, more backbone.
Correct. Did drug court do all that you expected to help you succeed in life?
I think drug court did all they could, and now it's up to me. You can't take an addiction to someone and say, "Will you fix this for me?" It has to start here, you know, and that's a pretty complex question, really, because it did all it could for me.
What's a few important things that you did learn from drug court while you were in drug court?
Well, I learned that a lot of people come into the drug court program with the idea that I'll just get through this. I'll just get through this. It's not a program you want to just get through.
Fake it till you make it.
Right, and if you do that, you're just wasting everything they're giving you. And I say giving you because they do. They give you a lot of tools to use as you work on your own recovery once they, again, release you back into the wild.
Yes. Who would you recommend for possible drug court participation?
Who would I recommend? Well, I've seen a lot of people come in and go out, and if you don't want it, if you don't want to get your life back, it's not going to help you no matter how long you stay clean. If you're just waiting for the finish line to get back to it, then nothing drug court. I would say if that's what you're looking for, if you're just looking for a way out of the charges and you're going to go back to your ways, don't sign up. It's a hard road to hoe, but nothing easy, or nothing good is ever easy. You know, drug court, it was a long, hard pull, it really was, but as you sit through the repetition and the responsibilities and believe me, you'll get in trouble, even if it's petty things, but you learn to roll with that stuff, just like you would have to roll with things in life, you know.
The accountability.
Right, and the things I learned, a lot of them are aesthetic things, you know. It changes your thinking if you let it. And again, if this isn't something you really want, this isn't the program for you. I mean, you spend more time in drug court than you would incarcerated for these charges,
right.
But you get something out of it. You're not just sitting doing time. Like I said, if you just wanted to get through it, you might as well sit in the jail cell and get through it. If you want your life back, sign up for drug court and go through the steps. Do the things they want you to do. It might seem futile and useless at the time, but as you approach your commencement date, you start to realize why you're doing all these things. And it all comes together, and it really helps.
My name is Joseph Fred Tryon. I work for the Utah Department of Corrections. I work as a field agent in probation and parole. I have worked in Carbon County since 1993.
Thanks, Joe. Could you please give me a brief overview of your duties as a probation officer for the Carbon County Drug Court?
Sure. As a probation officer, we want to ensure public safety while we help those who are on supervision become successful in their lives. We do that by holding people accountable for their actions and then also pointing them in the right direction that they may need to go. Every individual has a different story, and their needs of probation are different.
Thanks, Joe. What is your outlook on the drug court?
I really love the Carbon County Adult Drug Court. It's been a fantastic program. It gives individuals an opportunity to recover, to regain what they may have once had or lost. It provides people with a second chance, and it renews hope. And it's been a fantastic program to be a part of as we see people regain those things that they really like to have in their life.
Thanks, Joe. What do you expect from the drug court participant?
What do I expect? I expect people to be honest in their approach towards their own recovery and what they're doing. And I think that's probably one of the most important steps that an individual has to do. In my own experience, one of the things that I've seen to be one of the most life-changing events is when they submit to a higher power. Those individuals that have done that, they can easily relate to hope, having a change of heart, asking that higher power to be forgiven of their shortcomings, to make some character changes on their own. They seek out the restitution and forgiveness that they need from other people, and they hold themselves accountable quickly, and they're willing to eventually provide service of the things that they've learned. Those are basically the 12 steps in AA meetings.
Okay, what can the participant expect from you as a probation officer for the drug court?
I think that what they can expect from me is that I'll have a genuine interest in them. I mentioned that every person has their own story to tell, and I'm very interested in that. For myself, I see every one of us being equal in the eyes of God. And I feel that that's very important. It's very important for me not to be judgmental of them and to listen to them, to have them tell me what it is that they're trying to do in their life. When I do that, I'm able to open up new doors in the relationship that I have with that individual, and it becomes more sincere and more meaningful for both me and them. And when that occurs, I feel like I make a connection with that individual in the right way, and that I can be trusted by them, and in turn, we can work towards them being successful in their life.
Do you got any more additional comments for the possible applicant? Some words of encouragement?
You bet. Oftentimes we forget who we are, where we come from. Having been in the United States military and having been deployed a couple of times, I know how valuable it is to be a free person, to be an American. Sometimes we forget about that wonderful opportunity that we have. There are many people in this world who cannot walk outside their home or down the street and feel safe. We have that, and sometimes we take that for granted. This life that we have is second to none, and people around the world are trying to live like we do. I just want to, everybody to remember that they have that opportunity here in America, that they shouldn't give up hope, that many of us often fall, and that we do need a second chance. Probation is a wonderful thing. oh my gosh, people are lucky that they live here in America. I wish that people could see all of the vested men and women who work in programs such as the drug court program. There they can see the genuine interest of people who are trying to help their communities become better. And we do that by helping those who are around us be the type of people that they were meant to be. And in life, in America, there is no limit to what you can be. And that's what makes our life so great.
Angie, could you give me a brief overview of your duties as a drug court tracker?
As a tracker, we go out and we do the home visits, make sure you're home by curfew, you're not violating associations, phone checks. Basically, we're the enforcement part of all of it, but it's also to hold you accountable. But that's not all we do, but that's our main goal, is to make sure that you're following all of the rules.
Angie, what is your outlook on the drug court program?
I love the drug court program. I've seen it be incredibly successful with many participants. I see it going in really great places. I think that we've made some changes that are helping our participants to be more successful in the end. But there's no other job I'd rather be doing in the department.
Thank you. What are a few things that you expect from a drug court participant?
I expect them to try. I know going into this it's really difficult and it's intimidating. You have to go into all different kinds of places in yourself that you really have been avoiding, but I expect them to at least be open. And I mean, the entire staff is here to help and support them in so many different ways, to just be open to the idea of drug court.
What can the participants expect from you and the other trackers?
To hold them accountable. I mean, we will do that, but not in a way to be aggressive or insulting. I mean, it's betters them. I mean, if you're cheating in this program, you're cheating yourself. It doesn't hurt me, it doesn't hurt Aaron or Jesse or any of the trackers. You're hurting yourself, and you won't get from the program what you should or could if you're not being held accountable.
Is there any additional comments or any kind of words of advice you would give to somebody that is applying for drug court and maybe is having second thoughts about trying the program?
I think they definitely should at least be open to the experience. It's not, I mean, this is something that can give you your life back. And if that's something you absolutely want and you desire, do this. I mean, it is an awesome program, and there's so many people here to help and support you and lead you. You're not alone, and you don't have to be.
Hi, Kara, can you tell me about your position and role as the drug court therapist?
Yes. So I have worked with the drug court program for the last 6 years. I've worked as a therapist, a supervisor, and a director. I've worked a lot individually with clients, in groups with clients. Every other week, we go to drug court staffings, where we sit together with a team of lawyers, judge, APMP, trackers, and treatment, and we staff all the drug court participants to see how they're doing, improvements they're making, improvements they need to make, stuff like that.
Thank you. Can you explain a little bit why people are in treatment while in drug court?
Sure. I can give you my belief as to why people are in treatment. So people can get clean on their own. It's easy to get clean, but there are certain behaviors that come along with being an addict, and those behaviors are not easily changed, and with treatment we believe that those behaviors, we can give you the skills and tools you need to change some of those behaviors. So you have a person that comes in who has been addicted to drugs for say 10-12 years. They're also going to be addicted to some of the behaviors that come along with being an addict. So you have such things as lying or manipulation. Those are the kind of things you're going to work on in treatment. You're going to learn to change the different behaviors that come along with addiction.
So it's not all about staying clean off drugs.
No,
it's about
absolutely
changing the behaviors.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Kara. Can you tell me a little bit about dual diagnosis?
Sure. So dual diagnosis is someone who comes in with not only a substance abuse diagnosis, but also a mental health diagnosis, such as depression, anxiety, bipolar, maybe schizophrenia. So in treatment with dual diagnosis, we're not only treating the substance abuse disorder, but we're treating the mental health disorder. So we're going to treat your depression along with your, say, opiate addiction.
Does the assessment diagnose both the addictive behaviors and the mental health?
Yes, sometimes. So sometimes we get a person who maybe doesn't even realize what depression is or anxiety is. And so maybe in the assessment that won't come out, but during treatment, the more we watch them, the more that we're able to observe them, we may at that point decide that they have depression or anxiety or whatever mental health disorder they may have. So sometimes it doesn't come out in the assessment, but most of the time it does. So we assess for mental health in every assessment that we do.
Okay, can you tell me a few things that you expect from drug court participants?
So the number one thing that we expect from our drug court participants is honesty, because without honesty, there's not a program. So, which is really hard. We don't expect honesty right out of the chute because we know that's not even realistic, but we expect honesty as they go throughout their program so that we can treat them. We can't treat somebody who isn't honest about their addiction or some of the behaviors that they've been involved in. So we talked about honesty. The second thing is, with drug court, you have to be in compliance. And there's a lot of things that entail being in compliance. But that's the other thing we expect is that you just stay in compliance with your program. You do everything you can to make sure that that is possible, which is difficult at first, but it becomes easier and easier the further along you get into the program. So, and that you get something out of treatment. Just if you take one thing out of this program, that's going to be beneficial to you. A lot of people think that the treatment classes are crap, but if you can take one thing that you learn that can help your addiction, who's it hurting?
Exactly. Thanks, Kara. Can you tell me why the rules and standards seem unfair at first?
Sure. My perception of why they seem unfair to the participants is because they're used to kind of doing things their way. They have this way of life that has worked for them in their minds, but in reality it hasn't worked because they are where they're at. Now they're in jail or they're facing a prison sentence. Because people come into the drug court program living a lifestyle that appears to be working for them. They do their thing to get high, they do what they need to do to get high, and then they come into the program either facing a long jail sentence or a long prison sentence. And so we expect them, the minute they get out of jail, to start following the rules of drug court, which is, no associations. You don't use. You have to check in every day to see if you do have to UA. You have to start working community service hours. You have to start attending treatment. There's a lot of stuff we expect of people just coming out of jail, which can seem really overwhelming to people and unfair. Why is it fair for us to take the participant away from who they have considered their family for 10 or 15 years? That seems really unfair and unjust. But the reason that we do those things is because we know that's what works. We know that's what keeps participants clean and sober, is removing some of these other things and adding these other elements that can help a person stay clean. So I definitely see where they're coming from, feeling that it is unfair and it's not okay that we're taking all these things away and adding all these other aspects. But in the long run, it's what's going to be the thing that keeps them clean and sober for a long time, long term.
What is your role in drug court?
I have a few different roles that I play in drug court. Number one is I'm typically prosecuting a number of the cases that come into drug court in the district court. And so I act as the first point of contact that people see when they want to apply to drug court. I facilitate the application process. And then here in the county attorney's office, we do a level of screening to determine primary eligibility before they go to the full drug court staff to determine whether they qualify to participate in the drug court or not.
Thank you. What is your outlook right now on the drug court program?
My outlook right now on the drug court program is good. I've been involved in drug courts for close to 13 years now in different capacities, both as defense and as a prosecutor. And it provides us with tools that we don't have in a typical case to assist someone who has criminal charges, that's struggling with substance abuse. And it's the most effective thing that we've been able to implement thus far.
All right, thank you. How does our drug court, differ from other drug courts in Utah?
A few things come to mind. One is we have 5 phases. Many drug courts in the state of Utah do not have 5 phases. They have 4. Our phase 5 is a transition into everyday life without the supervision of drug court, which I think is very beneficial to the people in drug court. In addition to that, because of the 5th phase, ours is slightly longer than some drug courts.
94 weeks?
Yes, I don't remember the exact weeks, but that sounds about right. Typically, people are in drug court here about 3 years by the time start to finish and things, so sometimes longer, sometimes less. The other thing that I think makes our drug court unique is we are a tight-knit community. We know the people involved in the drug court very well. They know the staff very well, which I think is a big advantage because we're able to interact with the participants in drug court on a level that I think is difficult to do in a larger community.
On a more personal basis.
Yeah.
Right. What are some things that you expect out of the drug court participants?
Well, you've probably heard this from other people. We expect them to show up and be honest.
Yep, exactly.
That really, I think, is the foundation to success in drug court, especially early on when people are really struggling with the pull of the addiction. And so people who have done that, I think, have been the most successful and quicker. In addition to that, I expect people to really engage in the process. Looking at it from a governmental perspective, there's a massive amount of community resources being contributed to the drug court. And so when those resources are allocated to assist someone, then we really hope that they take advantage of that opportunity and engage and make the most out of it that they can.
Thanks. Is there any kind of additional comments that you would have for somebody that's just entering or applying for drug court? Some kinds of words of advice to give to them just starting out?
Again, a few things come to mind. Over the years, I see people that are afraid of drug court, maybe things they've heard around or whatever. I would say don't be afraid of drug court. Every single person on the staff, without exception, has a personal commitment to making sure people succeed. And that's why we go to drug court early in the morning to try to make it work. So don't be afraid of drug court. We're there to try to help people succeed.
Hi, this is Don Torgensen. He's the defense attorney for drug court. I'm going to ask him a few questions about his role as the defense attorney for drug court. So, Don, can you tell me a few things about your role?
So I am the defense attorney for all of the participants in drug court. Some of them might have their own attorney as well, but I'm the defense attorney that sits in on when we staff cases and when we talk about what should happen to the participants. I have a bit of a unique role in the drug court that's different from my day-to-day job as a defense attorney. Normally, as a defense attorney, it's my job to promote my clients' interests, meaning the thing that they want.
Right.
In drug court, that's still true, but I also am part of the team that decides what's in my client's best interest. And so, if a client gets in trouble, then it's my job to advocate for them with the rest of the staff. It's my job to promote the things that they're doing well, or to try and minimize the harm to them by presenting an accurate picture. But there are times when a client violates a rule, and it might be in their best interest to have a certain sanction or a certain jail sentence or something like that. And there are times when I also probably would agree that that's in their best interest. And so I would join maybe in that agreement if it's what our rules dictate, and if it's also what I think would be in their best interest. But if they come to a place where there's a question, or where they've done something that they feel like they need defense perspective on, then my job is to advocate for them with the rest of the staff. And my communication with the client is the only protected communication in the drug court staff. So if a client goes to treatment, they sign releases so that they share information. But if a client comes to me in my office and shares information, that's protected by attorney-client privilege, and I don't disclose that unless my clients ask me to do or authorize me to do that.
Cool, thank you. What do you believe that drug court can do for the participant?
I've been involved with the drug court for almost 12 years now, and I've seen participants be successful, and I've seen participants fail at it. And I think a participant who really wants to put a drug life behind them and live drug-free and live sober, if they're willing to work at it, I think drug court gives them enough structure to be able to do that. Treatment programs are great, but the combination of treatment and justice intervention with a judge who can impose a penalty, that seems to be a combination that works for people that are legitimately trying to get clean and stay sober. Drug court also provides, I think, a long-term structure for people to gain work skills, gain contacts in the community through their community service and their jobs, so that over time they can regain some of the trust that they normally have lost if they're this far into the criminal justice system.
Cool. What are a few things that you expect from the participant?
There's a few things I think every participant can do. You can show up and you can be honest. In my profession, I don't often get either of those things, but in drug court, I think it's mandatory. If you show up and if you're honest, it's always going to be better for you. Now, as a defense attorney, people forget sometimes that I'm there as a resource for them. So they go to treatment, and they go to check in with their trackers, and they go and complete all these things they're supposed to do, but they sometimes forget that they get in trouble and they don't come and see me. And so if they want me to be able to advocate for them, I have to know beforehand what the problem is and what their perspective is. So I expect them to have enough of a relationship with me that they can come in and see me if something goes wrong or if they have a question about the legal process, so that when the time comes that they need an additional voice on their side, that I can stand up and actually have the information that I need to effectively promote their interests.
You said you've been in the drug court program for about 12 years. How does our drug court differ from other drug courts in the state that you've worked for and with?
I'm involved with 4 drug courts in the state, 2 family drug courts, the family drug court in Carbon County and the one in Grand County, and also the felony drug court in Carbon and Grand County. Those 2 drug courts are quite similar in a lot of respects. I think because they're in the same district, things are probably fairly consistent. The judges are different, and every judge has their own personality when they run a drug court, but other areas in the state have, some places have more treatment options than we do, which gives them an advantage. On the other hand, I think as far as how our drug court is run, we are complying with the recommended program. Essentially, we have trackers who follow up, and we have sanctions and try to be consistent with those. Some drug courts have longer term participation. So there are drug courts I know in Salt Lake, excuse me, in Salt Lake where your participation in the drug court may be 5 or 6 or 7 years if you just stay in the program and don't really gain a foothold. Down here we don't typically allow those kinds of long-term participations because we expect people to participate. We expect people to engage and take advantage of the services that we offer because we don't have as many services to offer. We expect them to take advantage of what's there and really try their best. It's one thing to be addicted, and we understand that. It's another thing to be addicted, but also refuse to engage and take advantage of the services. And I think our drug court tries to sort that out fairly quickly so that we can put people into the available slots that we have that are really interested in engaging and getting sober. We don't have an unlimited number of available slots, and so we have to be a little more careful, I think, than bigger courts that have more funding about who we put into our program.
Is there any other additional comments that you would tell somebody that's having second thoughts or some doubts or fears about starting our program?
Drug court is very busy. It takes a lot of time, and it's really hard. And for many people who are leaving or trying to get out of a life of using substances, a lot of the things that we require in drug court, they're out of touch with. So they probably haven't been working steadily, and that's kind of a hard change to make. And they probably haven't been going to treatment, and they haven't been waking up at a certain time every day to an alarm. And drug court's hard, but at some point, people want to be productive. I think naturally they want to be a part of a community. They want to be a productive part of a community. And if your concern about going into drug court is that you don't want to change your lifestyle, well, try it anyway, I guess.
That's what everybody's been saying.
But if you really want to change your lifestyle, drug court's the most likely way for you to be successful.
All right. Thanks, Don. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hey, thank you for joining me, Judge. Can you tell me a few things about your role in drug court as the drug court judge?
Sure. I guess first of all, I'm the judge who has to make decisions, but I'm part of a larger team. We rely upon input from a variety of folks in the drug court. Every defendant is represented by counsel, and so we have defense counsel who are a part of that team. We also have the prosecutor, and we value their input. In addition to that, we have treatment, and we have a variety of folks who appear from our treatment staff who work regularly with the participants. We have the drug court trackers who regularly follow up with the drug court participants and make sure that they're in compliance, and also just follow up to see how they're doing in their lives. And the trackers are an integral part of what we're doing. We have adult probation and parole, sometimes referred to as AP&P, and we have an AP&P agent who is also a part of our drug court staff. And so when we meet together as a staff, it really is a team, and we talk about what would be best for each participant. In that context, I have to make the final decision. And so that, I suppose, is part of my role, is to be the one who makes the final decision as to what's going to take place with the participant. More than that, though, I really enjoy interacting with each participant in drug court. It gives me an opportunity that's much different than a regular court session, where I have an opportunity to interact with each participant, have an opportunity to see how they're doing in their lives, to see their progress, to hear a little bit about some of the struggles they might be going through, but also to hear about their accomplishments as they strive and as they succeed in drug court. To watch people change their lives and to free themselves from addiction is one of the most worthwhile things that I have ever done in my life.
Thanks, Judge. Can you tell me what you believe that drug court can do for the possible participant?
Sure, I think the ultimate goal is to have the participant change their lives, have them be able to be free from the addiction that has plagued them and caused problems for them. A lot of it, I suppose, depends upon how you view drug addiction. If you view it as a crime that is worthy of punishment, then drug court probably isn't the appropriate model for people to get into. If you view addiction as an illness that can be changed, if you view it as an opportunity for people to change their lives for the better, then in that instance, drug court can be very, very successful for folks.
What do you expect from the participant?
Well, I suppose every participant, when they start drug court, will hear my speech when I tell them that every participant has the ability to do two things. Number one, show up, and number two, tell the truth. And that's exactly what I expect of every drug court participant to start. Now, as they get further into the program, our expectations rise. And we expect more compliance with the rules, and we expect them to follow the sanctions, certainly, follow the requirements so they don't get sanctions placed upon them. And the sanctions increase. The longer they've been in drug court, typically the sanctions become a little bit more severe. But when they first come in, our primary expectation is for them just to show up, get into treatment, and always tell the truth. If they do that, generally, they will be very successful in drug court.
Yes, they will. Is there any additional comments you would give to a possible applicant that is having fears or second doubts about starting our program?
Well, I think I always try to tell every drug court when they come in, first of all, I tell them congratulations on coming into drug court. Congratulations on making the commitment to change your life. Congratulations on taking that step. That's a big step for people, to make that commitment.
It is.
And for them to do that, I always congratulate them on that. And so I want them to know that we know where they've been. We know what they've been going through. And so we welcome them into drug court. I would tell them to have no fear when they're coming in. Look at it as an opportunity. I recognize they will have some intrepidation and some fears when they first, or some trepidation, I should say, and some fears when they come in. But I also recognize that once they get into the program and can be in the program for a few weeks, they tend to feel a part of things, and they tend to start seeing their success. They start gaining a sense of accomplishment and a sense of control in their lives. And so I would just tell them one thing: have hope. Come into drug court with hope.
Give it a try.
If you can do that, if you can come in with a willingness to try, like you just said, and keep that hope bright, you can be successful in changing your life.
Now that you have heard from some of the important entities within the program and people that are going through the program now, I hope you are able to make an educated decision on whether the drug court program is for you or not. If you have any further questions, please refer to the Carbon County Felony Drug Court Handbook, or feel free to ask one of the drug court trackers and/or your current probation officer. Again, thank you for watching and congratulations on your new start in life. Good luck.